I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. Hello and welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James. I'm here because I love women. I love who we are, what we bring to the planet, and I think it's our time. I think it's our time to show up and show out, bring our gifts, and invite the world into the feminine energy of loving kindness and care and nurturing. And so I get to introduce you to fabulous women every week, and they're way showers. They show us that there's a field of infinite possibilities and potentiality that we can step into and find out what fits us. What is the thing that lights us up? And so I invite you to come back every week, meet a new woman, and let them inspire you to see what passion wants to arise. We're on all the platforms: Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, Amazon, video on YouTube. Look for Women Awakening with Cynthia James and just subscribe. I'm very excited to introduce you to my guest today. Her name is Samantha Tradelius. At the beginning of her bio, it says mother, wife, philanthropist, entrepreneur, brutally honest, fast moving, and supporter of all things she. My kind of person. Yeah. I want to talk about the fact that she's established the Sparkle Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to helping single women throughout the Bay Area, the Inland Empire, and the cities of Los Angeles and Sacramento. In just a few short years, the Sparkle Foundation has seen an unprecedented amount of success thanks to Samantha's sheer determination and passion for giving back to her local community. The Sparkle Foundation supports single mothers and children in an array of initiatives, including enrichment scholarships for children, a Christmas holiday gift drive, and back-to-school backpack drive. In addition to the foundation, she started and established Sparkle Biz, which provides microloans for female-owned small businesses and access to a large connected network. So since its founding in 2016, Sparkle Foundation has raised more than $1 million with every dollar invested in the community. Oh, Samantha, thank you so much for being here.
Cynthia, thank you. And I just need to take you everywhere. That intro was sensational. You're in.
Thank you so much. All things she. Well, I just want to start with how you were brought up and born. I think a lot of times women look at successful women and don't even think about what the beginning was. So, what was your beginning?
I have two wonderful parents that are high school sweethearts, still married. They are, when you look at hashtag goals, that's them. Very, just incredible family, entrepreneurial family, family business, very tight knit. My grandmother was the inspiration for Sparkle, and she is my, North Star. She was a single mom in the 1950s, raising my father, my aunt, and my uncle in this era that did not embrace the single mother journey. And so, that hearing the stories of the way that they were brought up, they really resonated with me as a young adult, as a young woman, and now as a grown woman, as I like to say. And when I decided that I was going to get out there and make a difference in the world, I was finding that there were so many women that were just like my grandmother. And so that's why Single Moms, and that's why, Sparkle kind of came to be, was as a legacy to my grandmother, Barbara Jean. I called her Gigi. And she's still very much a part of my, environment. She's no longer here on earth, but she still is with me in spirit every day. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Well, I love that. I was brought up by a single mom, and my grandmother was a single mom. And, you know, um, it was hard for them because there weren't a lot of resources and support for women who were raising children on their own. So I love that. And I love that you had a grandmother that you could see how powerful she was. I want that for my grandchildren. So before we get into the uh, the foundation, you had a whole nother successful career with your husband in insurance. So,
Yes.
so can we just talk a little bit about that and then how that maybe have bridged into the foundation?
Yes. So my background, my career has been in insurance, and it started off in insurance education, going back to that entrepreneurial family. My family owns a licensing school for insurance here in California. So pre-licensing, continuing education, all that is my wheelhouse, so to speak. And it became really apparent that this was a path when a teacher didn't show up for school to teach class, and there was 80 to 100 people sitting in this room. I was 17 years old at the time, and I was working at the front desk, and it became very apparent, like, this is how we eat, so somebody better get in there. So I grabbed a book and I started teaching auto insurance. I didn't know anything. I was 17 years old. And I liked it. I realized I had a little bit of a passion. People thought I knew what I was talking about. And when it came time I graduated college, my parents were, obviously not ready to retire. And so there was too many chiefs in the kitchen, so to speak. So I started an insurance agency with my father, which we sold small personal lines, small commercial, and then ended up kind of meeting my husband through owning an agency and doing that, and then moved to San Francisco, and away we went with commercial coverage, which we ran for 20 years. And it was selling property insurance in San Francisco, having staff, hiring, firing, smiling, dialing, the good days, the bad days, the what is going on days, all the things. And recently, in the last year, we were acquired. So the role has kind of transitioned from boss gal to back to just kind of a salesperson, which is great. And also kind of diving back in with my family. I'm kind of coming back in because they're now getting ready to retire. And so I'm coming back into the education space with respect to insurance, bringing all these 20 plus years of experience. So it's been a full circle journey with my career. But I always really focused on, I really liked women. And I liked women because A, I am a woman, but I understood, what was important to me as a female business owner. And so I would go out there, to networking meetings and these different groups. And there wasn't a lot of gals in my role. Insurance is still a very pale, male, and stale industry, even in 2023, unfortunately. And so women would gravitate to me, and I would help create insurance products for their business and became a part of their growth journey. Many of my
Mm.
clients are still clients I've had for 20 years. And when Sparkle Biz kind of became this idea of mentoring and loans, I thought, oh my goodness, like, I've got this incredible database of women in my life and clients that can help mentor these wonderful single moms that need assistance. So the bridge there was so great. And, it was an easy one to walk over because my clients had been with me for 20 years, knowing, my sparkle and the things I was doing. And now it was just a way for us to get to work together even more. So it's been a real full circle and a really fun journey. And insurance, I think being a business owner has taught me so much about running a nonprofit, because it's a whole nother bag.
Yes, it is.
Oh boy.
Well, and I just want to say though, your personality is sparkle. So I can imagine why, you got in front of that room and they thought you knew what you were doing, because there's a passion that just exudes from you. And do you have children today?
I do. I have two young girls. They're 10 and 13, and they give me a run for my money. These
No.
these little girls are going to put me under.
Listen, the kids that are on the planet today are, I don't know, light beings with pizzazz. I don't know. It's quite something. Well, I want to know, how did you navigate the balance with a mother, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, running a business with your husband, creating a family? How did you manage to create harmony there?
It took me a long time. And, I think as women in general, we really battle with that focus of where is the balance. And I actually don't like the word balance, because I feel like it really is something that's not attainable, because every day the day balances differently. And so I don't know, maybe in my later, well, I'm 43 now. So maybe from 10 years ago, 35, 36, I started to really realize when I was laying in bed at night and I was feeling just so deflated because I was feeling failure. Like I wasn't serving this role or this role because I was so consumed with this. I really just kind of made this shift mentally about, I'm going to design my days differently, and I'm going to fill my buckets differently. So some bucket days are full mom, some are, sparkle, some are insurance, some are just me. And, every day those buckets look a little different. And I think for me, realizing that it wasn't just a cut and dry formula every single day really kind of helps set the stage for the way I wanted to live my life and not feel deflated and stressed out every day, because that's not a good feeling, and it's also not good for your kids to see that, because that's not the environment that you want to be bringing up young women.
Well, absolutely. And I'm glad you spoke about this because, ladies who are listening, what she's talking about is a journey. You don't just wake up one day and go, "Oh, I'm going to create harmony and everything's going to be working." I mean, there's ups and there's downs and there's ins and outs, and the same thing happens with entrepreneurialism. Um, so I just want to talk about, you know, when you move into philanthropy and you open a nonprofit, you alluded to the fact that that's a whole nother bag. So let's talk about how you started that and maybe what some of the challenges were at the beginning.
Yeah, so this will be my 20th year of serving single mothers in the Christmas capacity, because that's what I started doing when I was 23. And 13 years into it or so, it was kind of apparent that, like, okay, we could probably do a little bit more if we became a more legitimate organization. So I had no idea what a nonprofit meant, how to get one, how to run one, none of it. I knew how to run a business though, because I'd been doing it. So I did some research. I, made mistakes, made really great strides, and 6 months into it, after I decided I was going to do it, was granted the 501(c)(3) status. Then, okay, I got that. Then what? So there's so many things about it that to wear the hat's amazing, but it's really hard because you have to have a board. You have to have a board that is on the same page as you are. My whole purpose in starting Sparkle was because I wasn't finding what I wanted out there when it came to an organization that spoke to me. Because for me, at the age of 23, I had $100 in my pocket that I could give. And when I was researching charities, a lot of them weren't super transparent with how they were spending the money. And it's like this dirty little secret that a lot of organizations don't share. They're a little bit better now, but still, when you donate $100, you want to know that that money, or a large majority of it's, going to the cause, not to a salary or rent or lunch. Um, so Sparkle being transparent and 100% in and 100% out has always been very important to me. And that number of over 1 million, it's now 1.7. I just updated my bio, and 100% of those dollars we have raised in these last 7 years have gone back out. And so being that I don't have paid staff is tough, because, in my business world, I could say, these are our deliverables, these are our due dates, let's go, people. And people do it because that's their job. In the nonprofit space, in my world, I've got 9 people that all have jobs and families and other commitments. And so, sometimes those goals are a little bit harder to meet. And I would always was finding myself in the beginning getting really frustrated because people weren't at the same passion level that I was, or I wasn't realizing the expectations of their world and what I wanted. And so really aligning myself with the people that were on the same page as I have been has, it's been a 7-year journey to get this incredible group that I've got now. But I think the hardest part of the transition was the volunteer versus the employee, and that mindset, and learning how to communicate with people and meet people where they are to get the desired result that we all need. So that was challenge 1. Challenge 2 is the fundraising component. I'm a sales girl. Like, I can sell you what you need, but it's really hard when you're going out and trying to get people to donate money. And I wouldn't deem myself as a fundraiser, but apparently I am. After all this time, I guess I'll wear that badge. But for my mind, when I donate money, I like to know where that money goes and how it goes. So as far as our process, I'm very transparent. Like, you will see over the next 30 days when we launch our gift drive, every single day, I'll post a video of what we did. Every single day, I'll show us shopping, wrapping, sorting, delivering, doing these things so people can really understand where those dollars go. And that, I think, has been a real good success point for us with that 1.7, because we've been able to show it. But again, these were things that took a long time to learn how to do.
Well, yeah, but it's really interesting. People don't just wake up as entrepreneurs. They don't just wake up as leaders of organizations. But I love what you said about the videos every day, because it invites me
Mhm.
and the people into your world to see how you are supporting your mission. And that's so incredible. And so I want to talk a little bit about your podcast. It's called Inspired, and I'm going to spell it. INSPIHER''. Talk to me about that.
That was a little COVID project with my girlfriend Stacy. She's been a friend of mine for 20 years. And during COVID, where everyone was sitting at home licking their wounds, trying to figure out who they were, we were like, we know so many amazing friends and these women that are waking up and doing more than just breathing every day. And we really both realized that unless you have a huge platform or have had some big tragedy, I mean, a lot of times, everyday women that are doing incredible things, their stories don't get told. So we started to tell the stories. And we went on Zoom, we hit record. We had no idea what we were doing. And 3 years later, we've interviewed over 160 women doing the most incredible things all over the world, from women like yourself, women that are creating products, advocates, doctors, lawyers, everything in between. And it is one of the most rewarding parts of my day, to be able to share the stories of these incredible women. And it's 30 minutes once a week. We don't edit, originally because we didn't know how, but now it's more because life isn't edited, so why should we be? And we cry, we swear, we laugh, we giggle, we do it all, and it's just a nice safe space for women to tell their story, and it's been awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that's how this got started. It wasn't COVID. It was just a little bit before COVID, but it was like, it's great to look at a celebrity, or a high influencer and see what they've done. But there are so many people on the planet, especially women, who've taken charge of their lives and made incredible differences everywhere they are. And the more we can tell those stories, the more other women start to see possibilities. So congratulations. I think that's awesome. And so what's next for you?
Ooh, that's a great question. Growth. Sparkle is growing. My goal is to have sparkles everywhere, because every major city has single moms that need us. So a lot of growth. I've been really focused on our impact within the community, how we can be, where are the families and the partnerships we can have with other community partners that can really help forge the mission, for all of our organizations, because there's so many great people doing great things all over the place. Let's work together to make that a bigger, the world is so full of negative, like let's find ways to be more positive. And I think just really embracing this time with my kids and enjoying my girls and helping them to be these amazing beings. Obviously more podcasting and teaching. I'm getting back into teaching a lot more, which has been really fun and exciting, and a lot of mentoring. I've got a couple different women right now in the insurance industry I'm working with pretty closely. And it's, I never have found myself to be an expert. I've just been someone who's always been very transparent. And if I can help someone get faster to where they want to go and not make the same mistakes I have made or know of, I'm so here for it. So that's kind of what's next for me.
Well, it's beautiful. So, if Sparkle is everywhere, will you teach people how to run Sparkle Foundation organizations?
Oh, I will. It's about boots on the ground. I mean, and it really is. It's finding the right person that's passionate and, really devoted to their community. And, the wheel is built. We know the program works. Currently, we're in 3 different major areas. So we have our Bay Area, which is the one I really helm. There's Sacramento and Los Angeles. So we really do, we built the wheel. It's just now putting the right players to help the wheel keep churning.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I think it's so necessary. So, I want to ask you about your book, Impact Stories of Change Makers, Creators, and Everyday Women Doing Extraordinary Work. Tell me about this book.
I always wanted to write a book. I thought the first book was going to be how to form a nonprofit, and I started writing it, and I go, this is so boring. This is not where I want to start. So I think that might be book 2. But what I really was doing was I was turning 40, and I was really reflecting about how I got to this place I am. And I really only got there because of the wonderful women in my life that have propelled me and helped me and been my champions, good and bad times. And so I started to really, it was Women's Month in March. And I started to post every day a photograph of a woman and her little brief story about why she's amazing. And it could have been my grandmother, my mother, my friends, women I sparkle with. And it kind of turned into this thing that I was like, oh, this is the book. So I got, 20, 30 of these little short stories written. And I went to a publisher and I said, here's what I want to do. And so we came up with this idea to take their photographs and I had an artist draw them in a black and white. And it's literally just a couple, 4 or 5 paragraphs about this woman and why she's incredible and what she's doing to make the world a better place. It was almost like a little bit of a love letter to these incredible women in my life. It's a coffee
Oh,
table book. It's very cute. It sits on the table nicely. And I think the most rewarding part of the book moment was when I did the launch and I got to have all of these women there. I mean, these are my friends, colleagues, women I respect, mentors, but to have them all in one spot at once has never happened. And it was like the Avengers meeting. It was this like super power force of whoa. And I'll never forget it. But yeah, I mean, it was just a celebration of turning 40 and a celebration of what it's taken to get to 40. And it was really just based on the impact that these women had on me.
well, one of the things I admire about you is that you are a creative and a creator, and that it's ongoing and it's beautiful. How do people find you?
Well, I've made it really easy. It's all the W's and SamanthaTradelius.com. That's the mainstay where everything is there. Sparkle's there, books there, podcast is there. I also have a monthly blog that I post 3 she brands, which are products made by women for us women. Don't get paid to talk about them. They're just like this month I have a really cozy bathrobe and like
Mm.
a great, candle or something fun. And then on Instagram is just at Samantha Tradelius. And that's where you can follow all of our Sparkle videos, all of my shenanigans, all of my craziness with my kids, all the things. I live loudly and I like to celebrate the good and the bad.
Well, I enjoy your passion and fire. It's a lovely thing. I ask the same last question of every guest. This show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women awakening on the planet at this moment?
Believing in themselves and knowing
Mm,
their worth. I have a little card. My business card says, "Know your worth, then add the tax." Because I
yes.
think so many of us don't know what our worth is, or we're not open to it, we're not recognizing it. And I think that is this like awakening moment where we are kind of coming into our own. We've still got a lot of work to do, but every day, let's move the needle forward as much as we can.
100%. And I think knowing your worth allows you to be, I love that you live out loud because I think if we were all doing that, you know, the needle would move in a more accelerated place. Thank you so much, Samantha, for being here. I'm very grateful.
Thanks for having me.
All right, ladies, I end the show the same way. Here's the message this week. Now, right now, is the time for you to stop pretending that you don't know. Stop pretending that it's not your time. This is the time for you to live out loud, to step forward, bring your gifts, share your ideas, create something new, collaborate with other people that want to bring the same mission to the planet. If we work together, if we support each other, if we lift each other, man, something beautiful is happening, and I'm so excited to be a part of it with you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Much love.